Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to Podcast Demastered. This is Wade, and I'm here with Chelsea as always. And this week we are taking our adventure further in the realm of X-Men.
Yes.
This is episode 3, I believe, of our X stuff, we'll call it. But we are talking about the second era of Krakoa today, which is the Reign of X. We're going to talk about the first half, leading into the first Hellfire Gala, or up until the end of the first Hellfire Gala. But we'll talk about the gala in a bit.
Oh, yes. Yes, we will.
So for people who haven't been listening up to this point or up to this episode, this is Chelsea's first go-through with the Krakoan era of X-Men comics. So if you want to stop here, go back a couple episodes, start there, and kind of catch up. Chelsea's reminding me of some of the things that happened because she has very recently read through a bunch of these stories, and she's experiencing the Krakoan way of life for the first time as we kind of catch up to present in the world of X-Men comics. So, Chelsea, Reign of X Part 1, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. I mean, wow. Like, you already thought there was so much set up and so much going on in Dawn of X. Well, it just continues with Reign of X. I mean, we still have all these different groups doing their own things. We still have villain-esque characters with their own agendas. I mean, there's also a couple of stories that are really boring, in my opinion. I will say that I'm just kind of like, I'll read you, but you're not as interesting because I don't care about that.
You're not as
that
important.
Side. Yeah. I'm just
Indeed.
But, you know, it's kind of good, I guess, in a way, because there's, like, an X book for everyone. If you're wanting the, like, dark and dirty, gritty side of, you know, the mutants, you have, like, X-Force. You never know what's going to go down in those books. You have fun, kind of, not really fun, but in a lot of ways, the fun characters and stuff. You have your, like, detectives working with X-Factor. If you want young mutants dealing with all their problems and helping even younger mutants deal with their problems, you have New Mutants for that. I mean, because it's this Krakoan Age and they've brought back so many characters to life, there's so many more people have their powers, like we're just seeing huge, very different groups of all these mutants everywhere.
So many different groups. Like, you got mutants in space and sword. You have little baby Cable running around having 5 girlfriends at a time. You have all of these. You have Betsy as Captain Britain running around in Otherworld doing Arthurian magical shenanigans.
Yes.
With a dragon, you know, in Jubilee, Miss Jubes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you have the sassy awfulness of the Hellions with Mr. Sinister. Like, there is so much going on. And the great thing about it is that for the most part, you don't have to be involved in everything to keep the story going. You just read what you want to read and you're fine.
For sure. But definitely when it gets to like some of those events and stuff, it's kind of good to read them all at once because then it has all the details you might be missing in another story. But yeah, for real, it's just so many different books out there and something for everyone. But yes, I've been trying to read them all, but like I said, yeah, some of them not my style, but you know, hey, it's fun but it's still surprising for them to keep pulling in all these mutants for being like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen or read about this mutant in absolutely forever. Like, oh, we're bringing them into this story. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. For sure.
If you could pick on one book, just one, which book
one.
Would you pick on the most?
I mean, it would have to be wow, it's so bad I don't remember what it's called. The corporate book. The
X-Corp?
Yes, X-Corp. Oh.
Yeah. I really like the characters that are featured in X-Corp, but I just couldn't I couldn't stay awake for the stuff.
Yeah.
It was so bad, but it's cool. It started out as an interesting idea to focus on the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, you have Angel and Monet in there, but like I could not keep the pages turning. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, I'm sure there's somebody out there who enjoys it, so I'm glad they created that book for those who enjoy that. But I mean, I'll keep trying to read it. Maybe it'll get a little bit more interesting. But for me, I was just kind of like, this is just, it's more of a chore to read it for me.
Yeah.
But everything else has been pretty fun.
Yeah, there's only 5 issues, so like if you're close to the end, it's almost done.
Yeah. Okay.
If you've barely started, don't worry about it. You're okay. Now, if you could gush over one book, what would it be? I think I know the answer to that one now that I ask it, but which
Yeah.
one would you gush over?
I have like 2 though. That's why it's hard.
Okay, let's go 2.
Okay, yes, I get to go 2. I don't have to compromise.
Tied,
Awesome.
tied for first place. That's okay.
Okay, well, I'll just say it is Excalibur and X Factor.
Okay, that's actually, I thought you were going to say New Mutants. So
Hey,
I was
no,
wrong
it's-
twice.
Yeah. Oh. No, New Mutants has definitely gotten a lot better than Dawn of X like time frame, but we'll dive into that a little bit. But since I already said that, I love Betsy. I mean, and her and all of her characters with her, it's just a great time.
She has
their
such a
zany
good
adventures
cast.
feel like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. I mean, Jubilee. We've already said like I love her. Rogue, like I mean, the whole team for real, and they're like picking up all the pieces from Dawn of X and dealing with Ten of Swords, which I mean the whole beginning part was basically like, did Betsy die? What the heck happened to her? And they're on a journey, but then you're dealing with everybody else. Like Richter is upset and doesn't understand that everybody else is like not upset about Apocalypse, because he's like, he was my father figure basically. Like he knew what was happening in the world. We need to respect him. I know you guys didn't like him, but he was the man and he knew what was happening, and we need to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, Richter misses his daddy Apocalypse.
Yes, he does. But just a great time. And then, well, in this part in Reign of X, because the whole thing, like we talked about in our prior episodes with like Betsy's history and stuff, and Betsy's history with Psylocke, we got to see them like really work together in this beginning part, and like Psylocke really come and help Betsy, and then them kind of more accepting that weird relationship that they will always have together, that like they both know each other so well and they're just gonna have to deal with it.
They're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah. And then another important part too is because in Excalibur they deal with like this villain character, or who they think's a villain, who's always been perceived as a villain, and it's basically this like girl who like doesn't have a body, so she basically possesses a bunch of people and stuff. And then that's what Psylocke helps Betsy like get back to her body and everything. But also it's like the Quiet Council and stuff wants to be like, I don't think we need to give this person a second chance. Like, are you kidding me? She's just gonna like cause chaos. And they're like, you didn't even give her a chance. She doesn't even have her body yet. Like we know what it's like to switch bodies. We know the trauma involved in that. Like, you don't understand. We will help her. Which is just my issues with Xavier too. We just see him come and go and just want to make his thoughts heard. And I'm just like, dude, you're just like sitting somewhere, I don't know where you are half the time, and then you just want to be like, I know what's best for everybody. I'm like, no, we have all these groups on the ground dealing with all these very important issues, and they're the ones who are there trying to make a difference. So
Absolutely.
Charles,
Absolutely.
shut up.
You got to go. Get out.
Yeah, but I know that you said that you enjoy X Factor though, right? You've enjoyed that?
Yeah, X Factor it's just so fun. You get a little bit of like detective, like solving cases, but you get a lot of like real life too. You get a lot of like relationships. You get a lot of just like personal time with the characters. Like the stuff that really helps you get to know them and helps you like identify with those people. And which is, I think that's what helped, even though X Factor is pretty short, it's like what, 10, 12 issues overall. That's what helped people like fall in love with it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that the characters in that book are like new and have no history or anything, but it was such a big but short time with those characters that when they retired that book, people were really, really like sad without it.
Which is totally
I
understandable.
will go back eventually and reread X Factor just because it's just so good, and it's like falling into a cozy book with them, kind of.
Yeah.
It's such a safe place.
It really is, even though, some not safe things happen for sure, but like,
Oh no,
there's such
but they handle them though, in like good
they're
ways,
like
like
a
healthy
team.
ways. Yeah.
And I think it was so interesting too, because at least when I was reading at the beginning, I was like, some of these characters, like, it's kind of weird that they're putting them together. Like, how are they going to interact? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool to see them. And like, yeah, like you said, you get a little bit more of like their personal sides and get to see these characters interact. And some characters who I was like, oh, this is like, because they're portrayed like iBoy, or I think is that his name, I guess. Like his character is kind of seen like as a joke in the beginning. They're like, why are we gonna let this like weirdo kid and I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
But then,
like, dang.
oh my gosh, but then iBoy comes in, and if you don't know iBoy, he's just a regular guy, and he's just covered in eyeballs. Yeah. Like, he just has eyes all over his body, which does give him some abilities. He doesn't just have eyes. Like, he can do stuff with them, but he has to, like, discover what that power is. He doesn't, like, just inherently know what the eyes are for, and I think a lot of this book does that for him. It helps him, like, oh, look what I just figured out how to do.
Yeah, and he got I don't remember powerhouse for the team.
Yeah, did he do like his big gigantic eye blast thing yet?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
And everybody's like, "Did you murder that guy?" And like, no,
he's like,
it's fine.
Nah.
Just maybe radiation poisoning, maybe, but I'm like, oh
no, he's
boy.
Fine. Yeah, he says so. He's so proud of himself for doing that. He's like, look what I can do.
Yeah, but I mean, that the guy he took care of was a very nasty.
Oh gosh, piece of work. Oh my god, like that story, that part of the story in particular was such a very like personable story for a lot of like, especially the gay community, because those things happen. And like, what the quick rundown basically is like, one of the members of the team he's black and gay, and then goes off and like meets up with somebody, and he gets murdered. Mm-hmm. But then
that's before he even joins the team.
Oh yeah, this is like a ways back. Yeah. Like, I think that death happened like before Krakoa, right?
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. He actually died. But then when they brought him back, he was very much just like, no, I will not let this stand. Like, that's not okay, and I have to understand my own death. And he tracked down that guy, and which is messed up because like his old body was like still involved in this process.
Yes.
Which was just like, I think I like grabbed my face in like horror. I was like, oh my god, like that is so gross. But
yeah, because at first I was like reading, I was like, wait, is that what I just read? I was like, oh wow, like yeah. But I was glad that the story came full circle, because at the beginning of like the series, they like mentioned a couple things, because it's like this team helps solve like murders, but like a couple of their team members like had difficulty even figuring out what happened, like related to their last death, or some of these characters who were just resurrected and were on the team. And so you see them kind of like slowly kind of dealing with that, or trying to figure things out while they're helping all these other mutants and all these other people out there. So it's totally worth a read to read it all. You're gonna get a lot of things going in that book, and it's
it's pretty short. It's like 10 or 12 issues. Not a big deal. But the story moves on past the book in a way. But that's for a different episode.
Yes,
that's later.
For sure. Do you have any other favorite ones in the
story? I really liked Sword, because that Sword came blasting out of Ten of Swords, you know? Like, yeah, they were like, because you know, the Sword Station makes its crazy big entrance at the finale of the event, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is. But they're all reacting in such a big way. Like, what is that? So of course I picked that book up, like seeing who all's on that team too.
Yeah,
and I like that first issue. I'm pretty sure I read it like 3 times the day it came out. Because I was just like, this is insane. Like a mutant-led space station where they're like expanding their vantage point like to space. Yeah. Like, you know, we're not worried about the island of Krakoa. We're not even worried about Earth. We're worried about the whole galaxy. Like, that's where we're at. And I was just, in the fact that they do the thing that the 5 do, where they put all of their powers together to like create resurrection. They also, what do they call it? A mutant, what is that term that they use? A circuit. A mutant circuit. They put all of their powers together, they feed into each other's powers, and they're able to like reach out beyond the universe, like teleport beyond the universe into the white hot room. Like, excuse me?
Wild.
Which if you don't know what the white hot room is, that's okay. It's only happened in comics. But basically, if you know who the Phoenix is, or like what the Phoenix is, the white hot room is like the Phoenix's house. We would call it that. That's where the Phoenix is from. It exists outside of like all universes. They teleport into the white hot room, survive the experience, and they come out with a new like metal.
Yes.
A very specific new metal, which they're basically using as a currency in like galactic politics, saying like, hey yo, like Krakoa's here on a universal scale. We're here to like do galactic trade and informational stuff. Here's what we have to offer, and this metal is like a big deal.
Yeah,
like a really big
I will
deal.
say it has a dumb name.
It's the name of it is Mysterium.
Yeah, I was like all the build up, and I was like, wait a minute, okay,
Mysterium, really?
We're gonna go with that. Okay, that's
they
fine.
Sure are. Yeah, but that book is just so like it's so crazy. It's because it's led by Abigail Brand, who is like half mutant, half alien. Is that right? Something like that. Like she has like
she's just a woman not to be messed with. That's all I ever.
She's really not. She could be a human. She could be human, and like I'd be terrified of her because she like her mutant power is like not even important. She doesn't really use it all that much. It's her brain. She's cunning. She is absolutely deceitful. She's like
ruthless.
She's like Cersei Lannister on steroids. She's thinking like 25 moves ahead, and she doesn't have time for you.
Yeah. And she will quickly
scary.
Replace you on her team.
And she sure will.
Yes.
She's got like 5 replacements lined up for her teammates at any given time. So she don't give a crap. She doesn't have time for your shenanigans. She has bigger things to do.
Yep.
But her team gets that, so they're like, okay, cool, that's fine. But I love, and this is just me, like, you know, she has herself, and then she has like her actual team, but then the team is like in charge of like the whole segment of the sword station that they're attached to.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're all like color coded and stuff got my little like Power Ranger soul like really, really happy. Their suits are like all color coded. It's just like, yes, I am here for this. This is scratching something deep in my soul. Because the X-Men are never color coded. They're like yellow. Yeah. Like all the time. Unless Jean's there and she's like green, and it's like, okay. Yellow and green. That's still gross, but all right.
Nope. Abigail Brand won't stand for it. All organization, color coded, everything is good to go.
And she like her story throughout the sword title is just it's so good. Like, and if she shows up anywhere else, like oh god, she makes a few appearances here and there elsewhere, and it's just like you're just like, oh god, these people don't even know. Like, who's crossing her today? Here we go.
But yes, no, that whole storyline and her character are definitely a huge part of this first part of this second stage with Reign of X, and we get to some very big reveals during the Hellfire Gala.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So are we ready for the Hellfire Gala? Are we there? Any last words about stuff that goes before?
I will go a side tangent a little bit before, because I feel like I've I think in prior episodes I've bashed on the New Mutants and stuff, but what they're doing in that book and stuff, I think it's really interesting to bring that into play, because we've seen like all the like quote adults dealing with like adult things and stuff and being like only worrying about the overall well-being of Krakoa and everything, and then you have the New Mutants who I think it's so funny they call themselves the New Mutants, because like they're kind of grown-ups themselves. And
it's like the Titans in DC. They're not the Teen Titans anymore. They're just the Titans. And there's a whole other group that is the Teen Titans, where they've kind of like aged out into this other group. but they both still call themselves the New Mutants. Yeah. There's 2 little groups.
Yeah. So the New Mutants, which is just like it's a hodgepodge group. Like they all come and go in this whole book, but like it's just interesting to reflect on the idea that like, so they're dealing with like their own issues, but then they're like kind of trying to figure out like what the heck they're going to do, because they've kind of messed up some things trying to help and stuff and like Dawn of X time, but now in Reign of X they're kind of looking more at like what it's like on Krakoa, and they're noticing all the children running about, but like these children are different than how like the New Mutants grew up, because like the New Mutants were like basically like trained to fight and like survive and just like get by, but they're like these children like have nothing to fear right now, they're just having a chill time on the island, but that causes problems because it causes boredom and it causes children picking on each other and also just
But
like,
they also have
destroying things.
superpowers.
Yes. And then you have this thing where a lot of the kids are like having like kind of body image issues and stuff, and just being like
Very
trying to figure
normal
out,
teen problems.
yeah, where some of them are like, I look ugly, like my mutation did this. I want to look beautiful like this character and stuff. Why can't I have that? And then the new mutants are trying to like interject and be like, well, we accept everybody here as they are. Like beauty standards that you might have seen in the like around other humans, like that's not the same here. Like we look at you and we think you're beautiful the way they are. And they're like, but I don't see myself that way. I want to change. So then you have like Magic decides to take charge in this whole thing and just being like, yo, like quiet council, like we need to help these young mutants. Like, and then Professor X responds and is like, oh, glad for your volunteering. Thanks so much. I'm like, okay, quiet council, you clearly don't care that much. You're just gonna pass it off and not really look at the real issue. But I mean, not that they can't handle it, but there becomes just this interesting parts where there's this villain lurking in the background who's slowly manipulating some of these insecure children and dealing with that. And then having some mutants who they will play a part in the Hellfire Gala. That's why I'm kind of like teasing it now, who are trying to like be like, something's wrong. I need to stand up for my friends that are getting manipulated by this other mutant that like the other new mutants don't know about before it's too late. Dun dun dun. But then that's when all things break loose and we get lots of drama with the Hellfire Gala. But it's such like an interesting read, and it really hits close, I think, like just on a personal level, because it's just like all these kids dealing with real issues. And it's just something that like not the other books focus on. They're like, we're looking at like the children and what they're dealing with, and how, there's big world problems out there, but you also need to deal with like young people too.
Absolutely. Children are the future and whatnot.
Yes. And so that's when they have to watch closely. But yes, I just wanted to give a little side talk about that and how.
Oh, no, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
But we can talk about the Met, basically.
The Met, yes. Yeah. So the Hellfire Gala is Emma's baby.
Yes, 100%.
The purpose of the gala is basically to ensure that like human mutant relations stay healthy and transparent. She goes out, she purchases an island. Because
no big deal.
She can do that.
Yeah.
It's Emma. She can do what she wants.
It was a favor, I think, to her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And on this island that is now like Krakoa owned, they can host a party. But it's not just any old party.
Oh no.
If folks, if you know what the Met Gala is, this is basically the Met Gala for human mutant relations, where like the fashion is just absolutely insane. There's lots of like schmoozing and dinner and stuff like that. And then
all the quote good, bad, everybody's there mingling.
Everybody's there. It's supposed to be beneficial to all parties. That's the whole thing. That's what Emma is going for. And it is, it does help, I think, but it also helps. It kind of helps give all of these stories leading up to this place like a kind of chance to converge, meet up, double check each other, like in a meta sense. And before we get to the other side of the gala, and we all head back out there to move on with our books. But this night is also punctuated by a very grand event.
Display, yeah.
Display is probably a good word for that. So Emma, she sends out invitations.
Yeah.
The next step in mutant evolution, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
She sends out invitations to human interest people, like politicians and entertainers,
as well as
anybody.
The superheroes and stuff
Avengers and stuff, absolutely. And then, of course, the mutants. Now, not everybody, not all the mutants can come, because there just isn't space for everybody. Yeah. It's VIP. Because the whole point is for that. Yeah, right. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But the whole point is that the mutants and humans get to kind of coexist together. Because, again, like Krakoa is absolutely cut off from the rest of the world in like all ways. Humans are not allowed to come to Krakoa at all. They cannot step foot on the island. Well, and there's no like media.
Though.
with a very small asterisk, like
yes.
Some parents or
parent
spouses, they can come, but like it's not like an open invitation for families.
Yes,
or
not
anything.
a free for all, just to walk in through the gates all the time.
Krakoa decides, so who's coming and who's not. But the night arrives. Everybody is just dressed to the nines. They show off the first year of mutant fashion.
Oh, yes.
And it's just, imagine they're, because everybody's super suits to some degree. It shows off who they are, like their powers, but this is something
mutant
else.
Pride, yeah.
Mutant pride. This is extra special. This is not a super suit. This is high fashion. And a lot of times it has people's powers on display, which I love how their powers, not just like, I don't know, like, Jean wearing, a typical green dress or anything like that, or pink highlights because, her telekinetic powers are usually pink. The clothes actually put their power on display. Like Jean specific, like she has such a wonderful like dress and stuff, but she also has these big golden, I don't even know what you'd call them, just like
yeah, I don't know how to
things.
describe that either.
Just like
there's lots of things going on.
I mean, they're like
outfits.
Like spikes, but like not spikes, like floating around her head as she like controls them with her powers. Like they're there to show off her powers, and like in half of every book is just like showing off the mutants. And my favorite part, like starting in the next year's Hellfire Gala, the Avengers start to do it too. And a lot of time, and sometimes it's like, oh, the person is like, no, I'll like design my own. Thank you very much. But sometimes Emma's just like, no, like I got you. I'll design something for you. And just seeing like all like next year, like all the like the irregular like human Avengers and stuff, also wearing super chic things. Oh my gosh, like that's part of like that's one of my favorite things is getting to see like such unique, interesting outfit designs. I mean, absolutely not like doable. Like these are not super suits at all.
No,
they will not be fighting crime in them. It's just extra
to turn
flashy.
Heads. Yeah.
Just to turn heads. And of course Emma, she has
multiple. Yeah. Yes.
Throughout the evening because she still has to be the one turning the most heads. She has to.
I mean, it's her party. She has to show people what's up, and that has to have those changes.
Yep.
So she has outfits that only she would wear. So,
or only she can wear.
Yes, there you go. The only one allowed to wear. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Well, one of them, if she wasn't in her like diamond form, like she couldn't wear that.
Nope.
Way too revealing, like even for Emma.
She might think not revealing enough, but
maybe that's true. That's fair.
Yes. Just and laughs at her first outfit. It's just like this huge like fur coat vibe or whatever, but then there is a not so subtle, clearly, just a little bit of skin showing in an X right on her chest, just enough
of
there
course.
to tease, I guess.
To turn heads, to grab attention.
Yep, of course. It's her party. That's what she wants, for sure. But talking about, like, also outfits that, like, display people's powers and stuff, because you have, like, Storm, who, like, literally, like, has clouds around her.
Yeah.
Like.
Absolutely.
Just so regal. Just, yeah.
I'll tell you, every single one of Storm's outfits, like, throughout the 3 Hellfire Galas, are just absolutely amazing. Like, they don't miss with the Storm ones. Although, I don't think there's very many that do miss. But any fashion that Storm has ever put in is always just, like, powerful. It's
anything
like,
that she wears in general. Yeah. You're just always
it's amazing.
Yep, Storm is amazing. Yeah, for sure. But there's also different outfits, because you could say, like, Rachel's outfit, like, some of the mutants we see, like, taking back, like, not really taking back what was, like, taken from them, because her outfit really dives into, like, the spikes and stuff, which really kind of goes in, like, with her history and her trauma of her past. So we see, like, which we see that even in general in some of the books, like, mutants taking back, like, the power that they thought was taken from them. Like, a side note in Way of X, we have Legion talking to Nightcrawler, and how Legion in the beginning, this is a completely different side now, but talking about like, no, I'm David. I don't want to be using the name Legion that these people gave me. And Nightcrawler's like, you know what Nightcrawler means? Like, I thought it was a terrible thing, degrading thing for people to call me, but you know what? I just took it and I just owned the name and I became who I am.
And now it's powerful. Now it,
yes. Yeah. So taking that power back. So that's what we also even see in some of these outfits as well. So there's a lot going on. There's some outfits I don't like, but it's just, it's high fashion.
One of those Bobbies. Bobby's is so it is stupid. I love
dumb.
Bobby, but his first one is stupid.
Yeah. No. Well,
it's just dumb.
I don't.
Anybody can fight me on it. That's okay, but it's stupid.
Yeah. No, I think Betsy's is stupid, but it also works, I guess. She's basically looks like the Queen of England, but also mixed with Captain Britain vibes. But I found somebody's comment online and I was like, yes, this is 100% the vibe that I think this outfit is. It's Effie from the Hunger Games.
Effie, I'm trying to find hers.
She has like this, her hair is all done up, this like huge thing, and then she has this like bright like red paint or something across her eyes and her forehead, and that's the part that just kills me for that outfit. It's just like,
oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. She looks like, it's like cool, but it's also like, like really?
Yeah. I just feel like I can't take you seriously right now.
No, it's just like, I get where they were going for with it, but like also no, I can't do it.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, but yeah. So that one for me, I just, every time I saw her, I was also like, who is this again? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry to see this.
I really like Pimp Daddy Magneto. And his white suit, his white pimp suit is my favorite thing in the world.
It's pretty
with
good.
His like big old golden cape, he just kind of like drapes around his arm with his little pimp cane and stuff. Like, he's amazing.
His was great. I felt like Xavier's was like offensive? Question mark. It's like,
he was also in like white and gold, right?
Yeah, but he has these like huge like cuffs on and this like
it's like super like,
it's like an ancient Egyptian almost vibe. It's weird.
It is so weird. He's basically wearing his like regular Krakoan
stupid
costume,
helmet still. Yeah.
But like the helmet, the Cerebro is like white and gold. And then like he's just covered, it's white jumpsuit, but then he's like his hands and his feet and like he's got all these like gold bangles everywhere. It's just like, ew.
Yeah.
Like for real.
It's every time I saw him I was like, this makes me uncomfortable, but maybe it's just because Xavier is uncomfortable every time, and every time I see him on constantly wearing Cerebro, it just gives like ick vibes to me.
He's he's pretty ick. But you know who's not ick? Mystique. No?
No, I said, yeah, no, I was in agreement. Sorry.
She's not ick. It's actually funny. Her costume actually reminds me of the main villain from Final Fantasy VIII, Ultimecia, like the Time Witch. Like, she looks, it's like she's been kind of designed after her in a weird way, but I like it. And Rogue. No. Rogue looks like, Rogue reminds me of like a soccer mom. She's like some high fashion soccer mom. That's what it looks really good, but I feel like if she had like a coffee
vibe a little bit,
kind of.
Yeah.
If she had like a coffee in her hand, it's like she's like waiting for her kids to like get in the car or something.
Come on her cell phone, just texting.
On her cell phone, absolutely.
Yes.
That's what she reminds me of.
Yeah. And even like Gambit kind of has like a similar outfit to match her in a way, but his like, I think he's not even like wearing a shirt underneath his like jacket or whatever. It's just like opened a little bit.
Oh no,
he's also wearing glasses.
There's a lot of skin shown in like all of these, and it's just like, oh my lord.
Like Angel, I mean, which makes sense. Like he's like just barely wearing a little bit of like a little cape thing and his pants, long pants, but it's just all showing his abs, you know.
I had to go look at Gambit's first Hellfire, and I'm like, oh no, it's this one. He looks like a specific kind of actor. And with this costume, it's like the little like weird X belt thing, like showing off his like
yeah,
his lower hips. I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my Jesus. Like Rogue, like Gambit, stop it. Rogue, control your man.
But no, I mean, Hellfire Gala is like the Met. Everybody talks about the outfits constantly, and it's, look at us, we're talking about them. There's so many different things to look at. There's so many characters in the background too that don't even like make it to the forefront of
Oh sure, it's just like
so
you catch it and you're just like, oh look at them.
Yeah,
I mean, and like Nightcrawlers is so cool, but he doesn't really do anything throughout most of Hellfire Gala because he's just like drunk all the time.
yeah. Well, he's trying to cope
Poor
with things
guy.
and trying to hide things.
Oh,
and you're like,
he
I'm just gonna
is,
keep
yeah.
drinking, and everybody's like, what?
I love how though,
Nightcrawler?
like he's in like every single book throughout the gala though, just being
Yes.
drunk in the background. That's like my favorite part of the whole gala. It's just drunk Kurt all over the place.
Yeah, and then
Poor
just
guy.
everybody just be like, what is going on?
Like
I'm so confused.
they're always like
And-
reacting to him like he's like belligerently drunk.
Yeah. It's like the guy that everybody loves, but then like he's there at the event like drunk, and everybody's just like, what happened to you? And we're gonna leave now? Like, what's going
Like,
on?
yeah, let's just
But-
go over here.
Yeah. But should we die? I mean, there's a lot of things that happen at this gala. There's lots of things because, Emma wants this to be like, she doesn't really, I think, have like all these other motives that certain other groups have. Like, I mean, she's in on the like clearly big overall thing that is revealed about like the next step for
Oh, but you mean like
humankind.
there's a lot of people, mostly human, but lots of people who come to the gala with like
And Beast.
ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Like not like they're not going to do anything per se, but like
Not there, but
they're having
relationships. Yeah.
They're forging relationships. They're talking to people, making vague kind of threats to this, that, or the other person. It's a really excellent like setup thing
Yes.
for later, because I don't think there's anything that isn't said at the Hellfire Gala that doesn't have a repercussion later on.
Yeah, I'll believe it for sure. And there's stuff that we see quickly after, because we see sometimes where some of these characters leave and then they immediately
Yes.
act on things.
They do.
Let's just say, because this is mutants, X-Men, always drama, there are
Always.
deaths. The kill count goes up throughout this whole time.
Yes.
And some of them are definitely for shock factor. I mean, most of them are, but like, I don't know. I want to talk about some of them. Not even the big reveal one, but there's tiny ones that happen that have repercussions.
Let's talk about some of those tiny ones. We'll save the big one
Yeah.
for the end.
Yes.
But tell me about some of the little ones you noticed.
Yeah, so we have so the first one that we have is well, actually it's not the first one. It's one of them that comes later is Gabby. Gabby, who is basically like Laura, aka Wolverine's little sister. And some of the younger mutants find her dead, hidden among the trees and stuff. And so that's a big thing with New Mutants. Gabby was the one who was there's this nasty force, and I'm going to confront this force and tell them to stop messing with my friends. And everybody's like, you're crazy. These kids
Poor
are not
Honey
insecure.
Badger.
Yeah. Because she was annoying a little bit at the beginning of her introduction to New Mutants, but then
Oh yeah, because she's a little kid. She's folks, if you've seen the Wolverine movie, the Logan movie, excuse me, and he meets little Laura Kinney. Mm-hmm. Laura Kinney in the comics is a grown woman, not a child, but Laura also gets a clone. She's a clone of a clone. It's really dumb, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's Gabby, but Gabby is a little kid, like how Laura was in that movie.
Yeah.
Her name is Honey Badger, and that's super cute.
Yeah. But yeah, so because she's a clone of a clone thing, they all have their own drama for being bred as killers and stuff, but they have their control of their minds now and everything, trying to start fresh on Krakoa, and she just wants to be a kid. She wants to fit in and have friends. And that's one of the things that New Mutants deals with. She wants to be able to relate and have fun, but then she also is I sense that something is off here, and I need to try to fix it. And unfortunately, she can't go to her big sister Laura, because Laura is dealing with a bunch of other stuff during this whole time, and she tries to solve it on her own. And then you read about her trying to figure it out, and then she ends up dead the night of the gala. It's like, crap.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly she was murdered, and a lot of people, like, or at least, like, the other mutants don't really know who it is, because she, like, leaves a pretty vague letter being like, I need to help the situation, and then the kids are the ones that find her, so that's gonna lead to a lot of stuff after this, for sure.
You'll have to let us know how that goes.
Yes.
After the gala. Whew.
Yes. But yeah, so like we see that. We also see Pete Wisdom. He dies. He's our British dude, because one thing we didn't mention, so like a lot of the countries and stuff, like a lot of the bigger name countries, you know, like are pretty cool with mutants, but Britain does not seem to be cool with it. Like we've already talked about, like they're all like, Betsy, ew, mutant woman, Captain Britain, no, but they're also like, mutants, we don't really want to.
Just in general, like.
Yeah.
Krakoa is not a real country. We do not like accept them as one.
Yeah. And then we have like the Coven, like, because, you know, magic is superior to mutants is their vibe, and they're trying to infiltrate basically the British government. And when Betsy was gone the whole time, because they were trying to find her, they're like, look at that, we can never trust mutants, look at that, a mutant like Captain Britain, no, like we need to take over. And so they like the Coven, and basically like I don't even know why Pete Wisdom was like following along with him to begin with. Like, I don't know why he didn't sense that he was in danger when he's like, oh, I'm totally gonna go to like the Coven's like little like ritual circle like meeting.
Like, red flag, but okay.
Yes, yeah. And then what do? They're like, yeah, mutants are going down. We want to bring her back, because they worship Morgan Le Fay, and Morgan Le Fay had been like previously tortured by Apocalypse, had been kept under wraps in Otherworld.
So she's not too happy with the mutants either.
Nope. And they're like, we need our powerful witch back. And so, yep, he gets sacrificed in a ritual to bring back Morgan Le Fay. So 2 mutants down.
And she's a big old jerk, so yeah, you know, she's around still. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Pete also just he wants to get with Betsy, and Betsy's just like, hi friend.
Poor Pete.
Poor Pete.
Poor Pete. She's just like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
He's like, why are you always here? Like, I can say myself, but I guess thanks, ? Yeah.
Yeah, like, how hard do I have to friend zone you before you get the picture?
Yeah. But
poor dude. But then he died.
But I'm sure everybody, yeah. I'm pretty sure people will be heartbroken at that, but yes, no. Yeah, so we got one another death too, but let's see. Who else do we have?
Oh, don't say the one at the end.
No, okay,
that's a secret. That's a secret.
That's secret.
It's a
okay.
secret.
Let's see. I feel like it's not that much of a secret.
It's not.
I didn't know what it's not like Marvel didn't spoil it on social media forever or anything.
Jesus.
So it's something I kind of knew about, but I didn't know what led up to it, that's for sure. But
I thought it was just really sad, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
We'll talk about let's see. I'm trying to think. It's just, yeah, we see a lot of just groups coming together. Like you said, I don't know if anybody else gets murdered, but we do see a lot of manipulation and people becoming free of basically being like manipulated. Thanks, Beast. Thanks so much for everything you do for Krakoa. This is not an appreciation to you. Yeah.
No. Ew.
You're awful. And what kills me too about Beast is like, I can't even get into the nitty gritty with him at this point. It's just everything he does. It's just nasty. Like every choice he makes. You know,
yeah. He just like it's for the benefit of Krakoa. It's for the benefit of Krakoa. Yeah. And even if it is, it's just like, but where is the end? Like,
yeah. How can you keep saying that's why you're justifying yourself for all these things?
Yeah. Right. Like, it's just, when does it stop?
Mm-hmm.
When does it stop? When does it become somebody else's problem? When do we, whatever?
Or when do you just let it go and just take the risk of having people having free will and just trying to deal with things without?
And that's his thing. Well, we can't control people, so therefore we can't always control what's going to happen. So his thing is like, okay, so we can control people.
No, Beast,
like, no.
No. It's just, yeah, I'm just like, what are you trying to do? If you're just trying to rule the world, then maybe you should just focus on that. Not that I'm encouraging that. It's just like your games and fake like politics are ruining everything, and they do ruin a lot of things with the gala. But yeah,
and he's just ignored by the Quiet Council, and some of them absolutely know what he's up to. Like Charles, he knows what he's up to.
Charles,
110%. Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Yeah,
but they're just like, you know what? As long as it's not me doing that, then like I'll stay in the light, you stay in the dark, you do what you got to do, and I'll just, as long as I can ignore it, I'll just ignore it. Like, ew.
And that's the whole thing with the Quiet Council too. It's like half of them are like, it's just a joke because they just like turn their, like, they're claiming they're making all these rules and everything for all the mutants, and then they just turn their heads at all these other things happening. But you do have a few, which I will give credit to Mr. Sinister. He actually does things. Like, he knows what's going on in the world. Not that I agree with everything he does and that he's a problem, but then we also have like Emma. Like, Emma has a heart that clearly she is the heart of the council and cares about the future.
Like, her heart really truly beats for Krakoa.
Yeah.
For being as vain and, like, not selfish, but, self-serving as she can be.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything if it works against the children.
Yeah.
If she can't keep Krakoa safe, then she's not doing it.
Exactly. And there's so many moments, too, where, like, I think even specifically in the beginning with Reign of X, we see, like, Emma confront some of these people and just being like, I don't understand, like, you're just, life is life, we need to value these lives, value these mutants, and, like, yes, we're basically, like, immortal in a sense, but that doesn't mean we can't just throw away everything and just call it a day, like. And that's another thing, too, a lot of these characters are like, death brings trauma, and you're probably gonna bring that trauma with you for, like, in your next life and stuff. Like, it's not something that you could just, like, whisk away all the time and just not ignore it. Like, there's room for growth, but also dealing with all that. And
unless you're Beast. And he'll just have those memories and experiences erased from your mind when you come back, because you'll be happier that way,
agenda,
right?
Yeah. For the good.
Oh, God, he just grosses me out.
Yeah, no, he is just all ew. And I basically just feel like he's worshipping all these, like, human groups with their creepy experiments. He's just like, I wish I did that. I'm just like,
Oh, why couldn't it have been me?
Yeah. I want that now. Yeah. No. Ew. So, he's trouble. He's causing lots of trouble. And did he cause trouble at the final part? I don't know, but probably. It's going to be Beast's fault. I'm just going to blame everything on Beast.
It's always Beast's fault. It's okay.
Sometimes it might be Mr. Sinister, but I'm like, it's Beast for sure. But so much happening. And also with this whole Hellfire Gala, we see the bits and pieces of, like, teasing these big moments happening, but then it goes quickly to, like, something else. You get to see all these different, like, stories, all these different points of view until it finally culminates to a big thing at the end. This huge death that is greatly going to affect the future of mutants.
Yeah.
Because it's not a mutant death.
It's not a mutant death. And that's why it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say it? Or do you want to go ahead and touch on it?
Yes, let's touch on it. Unless there was something else we missed from the gala.
No, I mean, no, we can cover some of the sillier moments later. And then, of course, the big thing that happens. But the end of the gala, the last page of the entire thing is Wanda being found dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
And the traumatizing part, the big part about it, is that her son, Billy, is the one who finds her dead. And Billy, not Billy, Tommy.
Yeah, sorry.
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
Sorry, Tommy, the speedster. Tommy is the one who finds her dead.
Mm-hmm.
And, and she's not a mutant.
No.
If you weren't aware, listeners, Wanda was changed from being a mutant a good bit ago. Yeah, it is a mess.
Yeah.
But she came to visit Magneto because Magneto invited her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they have some nice moments. And then we kind of cut out and there's some other things happening. And then, like, you kind of catch up with Tommy and his boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just kind of walking around. And then they see her just dead on the ground.
Yeah.
And the last thing that you get is Tommy, like, screaming out for his mommy.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like,
heartbreaking.
Freaking out. Like, no, Tommy, no.
It's awful. That's so traumatizing. It's just, like, hoping to have a good night, like, ready to do, and then just also not expecting his mom to be there, too. Like, it's just...
Also that, the fact that she was even there was not publicized, because this whole time she has been...
Like, not
banished, like hardcore banished from Krakoa, like because of like the awful things that she has done in the past with mutants. She's known as the Pretender. They tell like boogeyman stories about her on Krakoa, like to the kids, and she's known as the Great Pretender, because she pretended to be a mutant that whole time.
Which that becomes an insult, and certain other characters get to be called the Pretender as well. We see that at the gala.
Mm-hmm.
We see that with Fantastic Four's kid, Mr. Fantastic's kid. They call him Franklin, yes. They're like, you're a pretender as well. And I was like, okay.
And I think that's the whole thing with Franklin. It just ticks me off because, like, now this is going back a little bit, but like they go through that whole thing with Franklin losing his powers, and then Charles is like, no, we're here for you, Franklin. Like, you are a mutant. You are one of us. We will figure out what the problem is. Well, they figure out what the problem is that Franklin is using his, well, also, yes. Franklin, this whole time, since, like, he was very young, has been using his, like, crazy, universe-altering powers to like, make himself a mutant, basically. He was giving himself that X gene, because to him, that easily explained his powers. That explained who he was, like, subconsciously. But now that his powers start to kind of dry up, like, he runs out of powers, basically, for other reasons, which also makes his X gene go away. Also his father's fault. Yeah. Which makes his X gene go away. And, like, the second that it's gone, like, they find out what is going on with that. Charles is like,
we don't know you.
Peace out. Yeah. Like, we don't know you. Don't darken our doorstep again. And Franklin is just devastated because he had very close friends with the X-Men, Kate Pryde specifically.
At least they still have that relationship, which I'm glad.
They do still have.
Yeah. Kate wouldn't stand for that, to be like, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, no, Charles just completely disowning him, That just makes me so mad, the way that they just cast him away. Yeah. And then Wanda turns up dead at the gala, and people understand quickly that's a problem. The fact that, even if it was Wanda, the fact that a human was killed at the gala, that's a huge, like, PR blow.
Yeah, because, as they repeat, there are the 3 laws for mutants. The 3 laws, like, over and over again. Yep. One of them is, kill no man. So somebody is going to pay the price.
Yes, but that will not get resolved for a little bit. You got to hang in there.
That'll be our another episode at some point. Yep. Yes.
But man, but it's a good story. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually.
But just so many different things. Like, I mean, it's still a continuous thing of terrible, creepy things happening in these books. Lots of fun things. We see so much drama. We see these, like, big turning points, which we didn't talk about, actually. So we forgot to skip, like, the biggest part of the gala, the big reveal that, like, the expansion.
The fireworks?
The fireworks.
The fireworks?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's all watch the fireworks. Oh boy. Nobody was.
So they talk about this a lot throughout the night, like, we'll schmooze, we'll eat, and then don't miss the fireworks later tonight. And everybody's just like, oh, fireworks! That's a good time. Now, before we talk about that, should we talk about the X-Men forming?
Oh yes.
We should probably do that first, I think.
Yes, that for sure.
So
that was another big part of this gala.
And I think whose idea was this? Jean's idea? I don't really recall. I think it was like Jean and Scott.
They were talking about it.
Because their whole thing was like, before the gala, they were like, we're all X-Men. We love that. Mm-hmm. But the X-Men team just doesn't exist anymore. And that the X-Men's whole purpose for existing was to be out in the world, showing the world that mutants are fine and that we are there to protect even the humans who hate us.
Yeah. And I think we specifically see that a lot with Scott, because with Ten of Swords, because he's the one who's like, we need to help our people. Like, what are you guys doing, Quiet Council? And then that's when, like, Jean joins him and everything. And
steps down and
turning point we see of, yes, we need the X-Men. So it's those two come up with this grand idea.
And I love it because it's just, this is mutant democracy at its finest. They're all together and they kind of get to, this is right before the fireworks. Yes. And Emma's up there talking and she's just like, okay, well, we are one of our goals for tonight is that we're going to bring the X-Men back to the public eye. So tonight, everybody in this room and, like, everywhere will get to, like, experience the forming of, like, proper mutant democracy and the X-Men team. And so what she does is she connects every mutant in Krakoa, there or not, all over the world. She connects them and she tells them, she says, hey, start nominating people for an X-Men team.
Yes.
Okay. Nominations are again.
Voting. Yeah.
Voting. Vote. And this happens in the blink of an eye, and every single mutant mind is connected, and they form through like pure telepathic democracy.
Yeah.
They form the first X-Men team that was like hand chosen by mutants for mutants for the world. And that's just the fact that happened is just so, it's one of the coolest things that happened that night.
Such a feel-good moment. Yeah.
It is such a feel-good moment. And it hits, and you know, like the people who are chosen for the X-Men, they find out at that exact moment as everybody else. And they all come together. So we have Jean, we have Scott, we have Laura Kinney Wolverine, we have Sync, who is not exactly a new player, because he's been around for a long time. Like, he died, like, also a good ways back. And his ability was basically just to kind of, like, sync up with other mutants near him, and he could just kind of copy their powers for a little bit. But he's a little stronger now. We'll talk about him more, like, in future episodes. But we have Jean, Scott, Laura, Sync. We have Polaris.
Yes, and then Sunfire. I think it's
Sunfire, who is so cool. He's like this no-nonsense, like Japanese, like Human Torch kind of person. He's amazing. He's so cool. And did we miss anybody?
Yes.
Oh, and Rogue, soccer mom herself.
Our girl. Yes.
Yeah. Rogue. And so from that point, like their thing is like, we're not staying in Krakoa. We're moving to New York. We're setting up a residence in New York so we can be right there with the people. But we can go farther with that next episode when we start talking about the X-Men team. So we have the forming of the X-Men through telepathic democracy. But then Emma says, "Okay, humans, now it's your turn. Close your eyes, open your mind." As we are all connected in this moment to witness the fireworks.
And it's a show that no one will forget. And as she told the humans, like, you know, if you don't open your mind, like, you're going to miss this. And it's going to be one of those things, if you, like, you missed it, but like,
where were you when this happened?
Yeah, where were you? Yes.
Yeah.
For real.
Fireworks doesn't quite cover it. It's not just some grand, pretty display. It's a whole new step toward...
It's a show of power.
It's a show of power to everything and everybody.
Yep.
So, Magneto has put together a group of other Omega-level mutants. And they, during this time, while, like, people were voting, they have teleported themselves to...
No big deal.
Well, into space, but to Mars.
To Mars.
And with this group of mutants, and also not just Krakoan mutants, but also Araco mutants. Some very special Araco mutants that we'll get to know a little bit later. They go through a step-by-step process as everybody gets to watch the terraforming and life building of Mars into Araco, the new mutant planet.
So it's just solving lots of things that were concerns before, because Araco, after Ten Swords, was put on Earth, was added to Krakoa, and caused lots of tension. And then look at that, just put them all on a planet.
And then they take the whole island and they they transport that island and all of the mutants to Mars, so that they will inhabit Mars. But also, Mars also will become the like the capital basically of the solar system. Not Earth.
Yes,
because problems all over the place. But Araco will be the seat of the solar system.
And who is the surprise person in charge?
I mean, I wouldn't say a surprise, but...
No, true. Because there had been some moments in some of her stories where she was like, all right, people, like, I'm moving on to things. And you're just like, well, where the heck are you going?
Closing up stories, moving on with relationships. And that person is our goddess.
Yes.
Storm. She goes up to Mars not to lead, because she doesn't want to be queen. No. She doesn't want to be like,
she's like an ambassador,
the one person. Yeah, she's like she helps She helps with Mars.
Yeah.
It's her realm, but she's also the the galactic seat of the solar system.
Yes.
So we're talking like Guardian of the Galaxies level stuff. When people have to get together for like galactic politics, she is that person who goes to those. As does Abigail Brandt, but that's later on because she can't take no for an answer.
And she likes to think that she is in charge of everything. But, as we know, it's already said, she's already millions of steps ahead of everybody else. But yes, for real. But it was also just one of those, like, internal cheering moments when, like, the reveal of Storm there. And you're just like, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So cool. So perfect, yes.
You want her to succeed in all things. You want her to rule us, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So many highs and lows. What a wild ride.
Which, of course, so this was a whole surprise to mutantdom as well as humans. There's people who are so excited about this whole thing, but there's also people who are not excited about this whole thing too. Surely this won't come back on the mutants at all.
Never. Why has anything ever caused problems for the mutants?
For real. But that's leading on into Reign of X Part 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Which we will be covering in another episode.
Indeed, we will.
Yes. But any other final words about this?
Well, I don't think so. I think we hit all the major points. We didn't talk about Emma being depressed because she reveals she used to have a crush on a certain Steve Rogers.
Oh, yes.
And so
end with that.
Kate is like, well, maybe you should poke his head
because he's at the gala. Yeah,
he's at the gala. Maybe you can see if he has a crush on you, and then if you can act on it. And so she peeks into his little head, and to her terror, finds out that she actually reminds him of his mother in a positive way. But that's not how she wanted to be viewed.
Yeah, no.
No. So instant depression for Emma. Poor girl.
She wants another drink now. Or 20.
Many other drinks. Yes, or 20.
Many other, yes.
Yeah, it was a rough start to her gala.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, oh man, I'm going to get myself a Nope, sorry. Shut down.
Nope, am not.
No. Okay. Hopefully our time will come again soon, but yes.
And we also have some special guest appearances from some celebrities in the crowd.
Oh, yes. Some celebrities. As in, like, some Marvel celebrities, as well as I think you said you noticed some that were actual, like, based on, like, real celebrities.
Yeah, so you do get... Yeah, there's a whole Kevin Feige thing.
With Scott,
he's asking about, like, bonding. What his story is. Yeah, they're bonding and stuff. And when this came out, everybody was freaking out. Like, oh, this is another sign that mutants are coming to the MCU. Oh, my God. That took place. They did that on purpose. Because that took place, like, right at the pinnacle of that, like, fake hype, Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just like, it's like eye rolling, but like, it's also funny because they put, they had some other, there's like Gabriel Iglesias, like the comedian dude. George R.R. Martin was there, Conan O'Brien, Seth Meyers, like there was so many people. They just kind of like popped into the backgrounds of so many different panels. It's so funny.
And I want to make the joke about like, and Goku was there too. I really feel like Legion looks like Goku or something. Like, there's some major Dragon Ball vibes. Major, like, crazy hair, like, no shirt, like, orange pants vibe or whatever. Like, that's
serious, though. Like, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. But an eclectic group, and they were all exclusive enough, they met the list to attend this once-in-a-lifetime event full of drama and
not the drama,
the hottest designs out there.
Oh my gosh, just wait till next year when like the rest of the superheroes get involved in it. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, Tony Stark has like a it's like a holographic like tux jacket. It's like a hard, light tux jacket. It looks so cool, though. Like, it's so freaking cool. And Steve is just all, like, Americaned out, Like, he's basically wearing the flag. It's this whole thing.
I'll believe it. I feel like Steve, I don't know what the outfit looks like yet, but it also reminds me of like Cyclops. Like Cyclops like attempted to dress up but not, where he still looks like an X-Men. He's just like, he's wearing his outfit but like a little bit
Scott's outfits are always like that. They're always just like a small upgrade to his actual suit. So like you can always just ignore Scott. It's fine. There's always Jean who's just like stealing every scene she's in, and there's just like Scott. It's like, dude, you could just you go to work in that, dude. What are you doing? You did not understand the assignment.
He's like, I'm not comfortable in this.
I do what I want.
Yes. For real.
I mean, even his brother Havoc looks better than he does with his Hellfire Gala suits.
Well, I think Havoc preferred to dress up, I guess. I think he enjoyed it a little bit more than Scott did. Scott's like, why am I here?
Oh, yes. And Havoc's just like, hey, you party people.
Yeah. Well, it's also his perfect time to be like, Xavier, I need to have a word with everybody in the Quiet Council about why Maddie can't come back. Yeah.
Havoc's trying so hard to get Maddie resurrected. And they're just, they're ignoring him harder than they're ignoring Mystique about Destiny. Like, they don't care. They just don't care. Mm-mm. Like, she's a clone. She's not even a real mutant. Just like, she's dead. She doesn't exist. Poor girl.
Like, Mystique, you failed us every time that we want to make rules. So.
Yeah. They make, I mean, they have reasons to make up excuses to not bring Destiny back. They're dumb excuses. They're dumb excuses because their whole thing is like, we just can't have precogs on the island.
Because that's what Moira set up in the beginning. She didn't want them to be resurrected.
Anybody who can see the future, she doesn't want them there because because it's like very delicate, the work they're doing. And she doesn't want people to like know what could be coming, not what is coming, but what the chances are, you know? Because if people
plans are
or what her plans are, because if people panic too much, that could have an effect on the actual future. She doesn't want that, but also she also just hates Destiny. So
definitely, She's like, she killed me.
Not that
other things.
Mystique doesn't know that because nobody knows that Moira's even there besides Charles and Magneto. Yeah, but also Doug. Yeah, well, Doug knows a lot more than what people think he knows. So.
I will believe that, yes.
Well, but we'll start getting into that with the rest of Reign of X. So,
yes,
he's not okay with a lot of things,
but he's in his honeymoon phase right now. So
that he is, and also he's afraid to like bring those things up too.
Yeah,
like not that they can't kill me for knowing things, but like not that life couldn't get worse though. poor guy.
Oh man.
But so from this moment on, we'll be heading into the rest of Reign of X. But then Reign of X will end with its own little mini event called Inferno. Dun, dun, dun. And things will start to get real.
They'll start heating up.
They will indeed start heating up. Absolutely. Yes. And while it's been Emma's show this whole time, like everybody knows it's been Emma's show, it really becomes Emma's show.
Yay.
With a vengeance, I should say. Some stuff hits the fan in some very big ways as we end the second phase of Krakoa.
So what a big tease.
What a big tease. Too bad people will have to wait a few weeks.
Yes, they will.
And because Chelsea's got to read some stuff, she's got to get into it still. So give her some time.
Yeah. Yes.
But Chelsea, do we have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think that's good.
Okay, well, listeners, we really hope that you are still enjoying our run of X-Men, our current X-Men comics. If you would have been enjoying it, let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at PodDemastered. Let us know how you feel. If you have some questions, if you're not like reading, but if you're just kind of listening, if you have some questions about what's coming up, or you want to let us know like who your favorite mutants are, or like some old X-Men stories to read in the meantime, like let us know. We can help you out with that too. We're huge X-Men nerds. We just love to talk about the mutants. So so reach out, let us know how we're doing on that.
And we are quickly approaching our 100th official episode, which will be in mid-March. So questions you have for us, we're going to do a Q&A. So anything that you want to ask us, send us our way on our socials, send us to us on our email. We would love to hear from you. And with that, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode, and we hope you tune in to the next one.
See ya.